Right, so my Pegasus Knights charge this bolt thrower, and with 4 strength 5 attacks and 6 strength 4 attacks, I do nothing but kill a measly little goblin, and one of his goblins puts a wound on one of my Pegasus Knights. So, total pillow fight going on there. His turn 3, yeah, this was just weird. His on his animosity roll, his boar boys rolled a 6 and surged forward at my fast cav, and I decided to flee with them, but then on his turn he was able to declare a charge against my Pegasus Knights, and at that point I realized that if I fled he was going to hit my BSB unit, and if I held he was going to wipe me out and then hit my BSB unit. So just a mistake all the way around. I should have held with my fast cav, let him obliterate them, overrun, and then even if he did hit my Pegasus Knights, we wouldn't fight it till my turn and I could have countercharged with my unit. So just a blunder. I need to get used to playing better with fast cav, but anyway, huge potential game breaker there. His big nasty heavy cavalry, even though technically they're not heavy cavalry, but whatever. His big unit into my big unit, yeah. Not wonderful. I need to quit doing that. Anyway, so he brings his Spider Riders up. I think he wants to charge that trebuchet. Normally, I am not that accurate of a guesser, especially at long distances. The first turn of this game, I guessed 60 inches for his general and put it. That's because that's the limit of my range anyway. Put it right on his head. And every turn, I'm guessing at his general because he's a large target and I can see him over everybody else. And every turn, I'm guessing it right on his head and then scattering off. And I think the last turn it scattered off and hit his big unit of boar boys and actually killed a couple. So I think his Spider Riders have had enough of that and he wants to take out my trebuchet. You can see his unit of boar boys in the middle of the screen are finally able to move up. Really not a whole lot else going on there. So his guys came in with the charge and they killed 3 of my knights. And really, I think that's about as good as I could hope for. I don't know the math on it, but I know I know now that these guys get impact hits. Their boars are tough. These guys are tough on the charge. I was really worried. I think I probably got lucky only losing 3. But with losing the 3 and because of just the different static combat res that I have, because I have a banner, the battle standard bearer, the war banner, and all that stuff he has as well. But I get the virtue of +1 combat res, and I had an extra rank. He did 3 wounds, and so he wins combat by 1, and with a reroll, I stick, which is huge and potentially game-turning for me. You can see on the upper left, I take my his fast cav is just kind of dancing around, and I take my general. I'm really trying to keep an eye on his general, but I didn't want to move up any farther and get charged by his fast cav, and I'm using my Grail Knights just to try to make his fast cav do something, which in hindsight, they're way too mobile. I shouldn't have worried about them with those guys, but I did. So on my turn 3, you can see the Pegasus Knights rally. I put him at an angle so I can get as many bowmen shooting at his general as possible. And then I realized later that his general's on a large target, so it didn't matter. But that's just me not knowing how to play the game. My Knights of the Realm got the charge into his boar boys, and now I'm very confident about that battle. Here I took my bowman and charged into the side of his Spider Riders. I could have just shot at him, but what I was thinking was, I have a flank, I outnumber, with 4 attacks, I think I should kill one of them, so I should win combat by 3. And with his leadership, I think I can destroy that unit and just get him out of the way. But I turned my men-at-arms just in case. What ended up happening, well, I'll tell you later what ended up happening. So at the top of the board, you can see my Pegasus Knights finally took out the first bolt thrower, and during his turn. So during my turn, they were able to charge a second bolt thrower. Not that his bolt throwers ever did much during the game, but with my cavalry running around, I don't want them to do stuff. Now this is a blurry picture. Usually I take these out, but it's actually kind of funny. Aimed a stone right on the head of his general, and it scattered off and hit his chariot. If you remember where that lone model is by the house, there used to be a chariot there. Strength 10 hit right on the chariot, wiped it out. So that's just his shaman hanging out there on foot now. And yeah, just funny. Love that stone thrower. Even when it doesn't get its points back, I love it. So you can see on my turn, because of that counter charge, I was able to beat his boar boys in combat and chase him down. I chose to pursue only with my BSB unit, because if I charged with both, his general could charge me in the flank of one, wipe me out, go into the flank of the other, and it'd be the Lizardman game all over again. So I did with one, knowing his general could come in and wipe me out, but if that were to happen, at least I would have a supporting charge coming in next turn or something like that. So you can see after battle, my Pegasus Knights were able to kill that bolt thrower like they should have done with the first bolt thrower. And on this one, that combat with my bowman, I whiffed all my attacks. He attacked back with one spider and the rider and killed one of my guys, so I no longer outnumbered. He had a wound that negated my flank bonus, and he had a musician and I didn't, so he won. My leadership is awful, so he beat me, ran me down, and that plan just backfired, with the exception that it kept my trebuchet alive another turn or two, but and my men-at-arms turning that way are totally useless now. So you can see on his turn, he takes his fast cav and says, duh, I'm fast cav, and he just kind of goes behind my units. So I'm kind of feeling stupid there, not realizing that fast cav are that mobile. You can see he took his general, charged into the flank of my BSB unit like I thought he would. He took a second set of boar boys, charged into my Pegasus Knights. Had I fled, I probably would have gone off the board, and regardless, this just looked like it was going to be the better option for me. I'll show you why in just a minute. So you can see he took his spider riders, looped back around, preparing yet again to charge my trebuchet. His general with the wyvern killed 3 of my guys, but because of all those banners and bonus combat res I have, we actually tied combat. And if my musician was still alive, I would have won by 1. But we held, and that's all I need, because if you look in the upper left-hand corner, that's my monster-killing general, and he can see the large target, and I'm in his front arc, and I can fly over my guys and hit him. I thought I would be able to charge with my big Knights of the Realm, but we had a rule dispute and decided it'd be better just to let them hang out and do nothing. So what I did here is I said, look, he's just fast cav. I'm just going to turn my Grail Knights around. They're tough Grail Knights. Let them charge me. Let's see what happens, and then I'll just countercharge with my Pegasus Knights in the rear. So here's my general coming in for the charge on my turn, and this is the reason I held with those Pegasus Knights. I knew he'd obliterate me, and he overran and into my bowman, but we weren't going to fight that until my turn, which would allow me to countercharge with my Knights Errant before that ever happened. So that, I think, worked out as well as I could have hoped. On my turn, I marched my men-at-arms up to try to get ready to secure table quarters. I took all those skirmishing bowmen, turned around and shot at the spider riders and wiped them out, which was nice. General attacked his wyvern, killing blowed large target, and with that, combat res easily beat his general and chased him down. The charge into the flank, even though he killed a bunch of my bowmen, gave me all the combat res I need to break his boars in combat and chase him down. So at this point he knew he was basically conceding the game. But we went ahead and fought out on his turn 5. He took his fast cav and charged my Grail Knights, and oh my gosh, they just wiped me out. He had some kind of character in there that had a weapon that ignored armor saves, and so I don't know what his strength was or anything, but anyway, yeah, he had the Trickster's Pendant or something like that, so that none of my guys benefited from a ward save. So my guys were sitting there with no ward save, and against the 4 attacks from his character, or 3 attacks, whatever he had no armor save. So he killed at least 3 of my guys. I had no attacks back, easily outran me, and I was feeling silly with my Grail Knights getting wiped out by a unit of fast cav. But there you have it. I mean, he had nothing left on the board at this point except he had a shaman, and I had plenty of stuff left. So it was obviously at least a solid victory, if not a massacre for the Bretonnians, especially if I would have had the 2 more turns. Because on this, you can see my big unit of Knights of the Realm were going to charge into the flank of his fast cav. My Pegasus Knights would have charged him. I would have been just fine. So it didn't go well for the Orcs and Goblins. Usually it's a much closer game against this all-mounted list, but just a really fun game to play, all-mounted against my almost all-mounted. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.